All right, hello and welcome to my first ever build video. So today we're going to be building the Ogre Kingdom's Man-Eater Pirates. So we've already done the unboxing video. I don't know how to be like, I posted the link to that video. It's up here in the corner. It's just go back and watch that first. Then watch this video. So I've got the pieces out. So the one thing that isn't being shown on this and that you should always do with resin models is wash them. So usually what I do is I soak them overnight in, like these I just put in a coffee mug with some water and soap. I let them soak overnight, took them out, cleaned them off with a paper towel. That's it. You can feel the difference on the models after you do that. There's kind of like a film to them. And on some of the pieces, they'll actually be like, it's hard to describe, but it's like a webbing. The feather was very bad for this. It looked like a soft layer of resin was on top of this feather. It came off very easily after I cleaned it, but when you first open up the model, I even had people at the shop would come back because they'd never had a resin model before. They wouldn't realize that they got a resin model and come back and be like, oh, well, it's not been cast correctly. There's all these problems. I'm like, no, you just have to clean it off. So anyways, we're going to get right into this. So there's not too many pieces to this model, which is great. For some of this, I'm going to be keeping the head and the gut plate separate. So I am going to clip it off of the sprue and clean it up a little bit. But these I'm not going to glue on. I'm going to be assembling the arms onto it. And as I go through the model, I'll tell you why. So first things first, you're going to want to get your hobby clippers here. And we're going to be removing all the flash or the excess resin. So the first part that you can see here is this massive piece here. So you can see it's got a bit on the parrot there. So I'm just going to be clipping off right there, and then the two pieces just there to the side. So you just get as close as you can to the model and clean that off. There you go. So again, that's super easy. That was not hard. Next, for this, you have this is a mold line remover, right? So from GW, you can get the mold line remover. This is really for plastic miniatures when you have excess that you need to get off. For resin models, you're going to want to use your X-Acto knife. So I'm going to take the cover off here. And for this, you're just removing that little extra bit. So you can see here on the parrot's beak, there's that little tiny bit that I missed. So with that, you're just going to take this X-Acto knife and cut it off. That's it. There's nothing too much to it. I know sometimes people, especially with the resin models, when they just get started, they can find it more intimidating because, especially with Games Workshop and Forge World resin, it can snap very easily. But even if it snaps, it's fixable for the most part. It's more if it snaps and you lose a piece that you can't come back from. So here I'm just cleaning a little bit of the bottom there where there was more excess resin. Again, it's just a simple process. It's just a few cuts and it comes right off. And that area is pretty much good. So you can also see that there's a mold line. Well, it's tough to see in this, but there's just a line down the side of the pants here. So whenever you have a mold line, again, with plastic models, I do prefer when you have these large open areas using the mold line remover. But here we'll just take the X-Acto knife and you just go up and down quick. That's it. There's no crazy techniques you need to practice. It's just going back and forth and shaving it down as best you can. And that's it. Again, super fast, not very hard to do. There's a little bit of extra on the parrot just right there. You can see his feathers. Just take that bit off as well. All right. So that side's cleaned up. So we'll take a quick look at the other side here. You can see there's the mold line right there. It's actually not as bad as the other side. There's a little bit on the ogre gut right there. And that's not too bad. So just take that down. A piece that is bad, and you may not notice this is something that you actually could miss if you weren't watching, is right here, there's a triangle right there just underneath the vest of the ogre. So it actually kind of blends in with the model. So with this, you're going to grab your clippers again, go back in, and just line it up with the side here. So you're just going to line up as best you can with the ogre's body and try to, there you go. You clip right there. So we didn't get the whole thing, and that's totally fine. So I'm just going to clip from the bottom now to remove that little bit. And that's it. So you can see That part's been removed. There's now excess resin underneath there. So with this, we're just doing the same thing we did on the other side. You're just smoothing it out, and that's it. Just use your X-Acto knife, go over the spot a few times. With this, again, I like to take my time. When you're trying to go fast through this, that's when you make mistakes. That's when you're cutting off pieces of the model that you don't want to cut off. And then you can see on the inside there, there's a little extra as well. So that's just come from us clipping. So you can just go on the inside and smooth that out. Just like so. And that's it. So the bottom part of the model, you can see there's actually two massive pieces of resin from the pouring here and here. So for that, I'm actually going to be leaving them because for this model, the way I'm going to be painting it, usually I would put a pin vise and drill a hole into the bottom of the model. Then I would insert a paper clip and then hold onto that paper clip while I'm painting. But in this case, it's done. I don't need to do that. I can leave these two massive pieces on the bottom and just hold on to those while I'm painting. I am, however, going to clip off this excess part right here. Get rid of that. This part here is actually the part that would go into the base of the model here if it had a plug. It does not have a plug though, and I'm going to be pinning it on because I'm going to be doing some custom basing. So I'm actually going to cut it off. But again, you may not want to cut it off and just drill a hole into the base to properly secure it. Again, you would just take a pin vise, drill a hole, open it up with an X-Acto knife. It would be easy to do, but I won't need to do that because I'm going to be attaching this to corkboard actually. So again, that's clipped right off. So the last area on the model is this bit here. So we're just going to clip the two side pieces there, 1 and 2, and then get this here. There you go. So that piece is now clipped. And again, I will clean that up, but I don't need to clean up every single thing to show you. But this is a good example of we've cleaned one piece pretty fully. It's good to go to be attached to other parts of the model. So for this, I'm going to put this to the side now. And then I'm going to grab one of the arms because I'm going to clip out the one arm and then I'll glue that on as the example essentially of assembling this model. So why don't we go for the sword arm because it has a little bit less flash on it. So here we're just going to be snipping off the excess here. There's not too many parts on this arm, so that's good for us. So just clipping along, going piece by piece. So you can see here, the bottom of the anchor, the chain, there's a connection point in between the chain and the sword. So just clip 1/2 and then just clip that. Boom. So the sword is now disconnected from the frame. And now you can see there's some of that extra little bit that was on the feather that I got off. You can just see it right there. Again, this is not a big deal. You just have to go with your X-Acto knife once, boom, it is gone. That's it. A lot of the times people will think that that's been miscast or there's something wrong, but that's just part of using this sort of resin. So again, this all comes right off. Sometimes you don't even have to clip, they just come off. So you can see there is this little extra bit here though. So luckily it's on this flat surface. So I'm just going to snip and there you go. So we'll grab the X-Acto knife, cut this off a little bit. There you go. So this also is this extra piece of flash right there that we've got. So sometimes, like I didn't clip this and there's a very specific reason. Sometimes these might be an insert. Maybe this arm would have gone on here and there's a backpack and that's the connecting piece for there. You can tell right away though that that is not the case. This arm needs to be flush with the body. So I'm going to clip this piece off as well. Like so. Comes right off. Easy. I feel like this video will be good for a lot of people because again, it's funny with fine cast resin because all the new kits that come out from Games Workshop are plastics. A lot of people have never dealt with a fine cast resin model, and they'll order an old character not knowing and ship it to their house or pick it up and go home and come back and be like, what is this? This is not this isn't a model because they have no idea that it can actually be made by with resin as well. just because there's been this huge move to plastic. So we've got the sword arm here. We've got the body. So inside there, you can see there's actually excess resin on the inside. Again, that's not a problem. So the ball joint won't fit into that piece the way it is. So we're just going to grab the clippers here, clip off that excess there, grab off the X-Acto knife, and cut just around the inside there and make the hole a bit bigger so that the ball joint will fit properly in it. This one's not too bad. Sometimes you'll get them and it's really bad. Like you'll end up again having to get a drilling part of it out and to get the arm or leg or whatever it may be to sit flush with the model. Okay. So that bit's cleaned as well. So now we'll say that we're going to be gluing that arm on to the model. So here is the plastic Citadel glue. So this actually is not what you want to use. You need resin glue. In this case, I use Gorilla Super Glue. People ask me all the time what glue I use. This is the exact product that I use. Games Workshop used to sell like metal glue, it was called back in the day, but the glue that you would use for this resin, the plastic glue will not hold this together. So all you do, take this off. You just put a tiny bit of glue there. You don't need too much. Essentially, you want to cover the ball joint and then put a small rim around the edge of glue just for the connection point. Then you will apply it there to the model, get it to go fit in. Like so. And then you would hold it there for, honestly, probably about 5 minutes just to make sure that it's secure. I would, again, just sit here for 5 minutes, hold it there. After that time, you let go, and then the arm should stay, hopefully. If you've applied it properly, if the arm comes off, it's fine. What you'll want to do in that case is remove the excess glue and then glue it again. You don't want to just put more glue on and then try again right away, because the glue buildup will create a space gap in between the arm and the model, and then it won't sit flush anymore. So that's something really important to do that some people don't tell you when they're doing these build videos. Anyways, I'm going to leave it at that. So that was how to clean and glue a resin model. Again, let me know in the comments if you found this helpful. Would you like to see some more videos like this as well? Let me know. And don't forget to hit that subscription button. It helps me out so much. But yeah, there's going to be a lot more videos like this coming out. So please stay tuned. I'll talk to everybody soon.